What's going on, YouTube? I'm E, and this is SimplyPutScents. And I wanted to talk to you guys about a fragrance that came out this year by the house of Rasasi. And the fragrance is Ambergris Showers. Rasasi's like Yuqawam is a really good fragrance that smells a whole lot like Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford. Ambergris Showers is a totally different monster. So let's get into it. Ambergris Showers is unlike anything I've ever smelled before in my life. It's a very sweet smelling fragrance. It almost has a scent that reminds you of fragrance oils, but I think the sweetness of this fragrance kind of masks its true nature. It's a very herbaceous fragrance. It's a very green fragrance. It's a very wet fragrance. The name Ambergris Showers perfectly encapsulates what you're gonna get when you smell this fragrance. It just really comes across like the wet ground in a rainforest. You know, it's a very, very interesting smell. The iris and galbanum, along with the herbal notes within the fragrance, come together to create this very earthy, sweet, but slightly resinous vibe. I would say that the wetness is coming from the ambergris in this fragrance, which I don't obviously believe it's real ambergris, but it's obviously an ambroxan or an ambergris smelling type of note. And it adds almost an aquatic vibe to this fragrance, I think, giving it that wet nature. As it dries down, the galbanum starts to lean woody. And basically, guys, this all comes together to really create a very weird, strange fragrance, but in a good way. Now, the performance of Ambergris Showers is very good. It lasts anywhere from 7 to 8 hours on my skin with very strong projection within the first 2.5 to 3 hours. After that, it gets closer. It didn't really get close to my skin till about the 4th hour. And from that point on, it just stuck around in my personal space. I definitely could catch whiffs of it from my shirt. The notes in this fragrance are very, very pungent, I would say. So before the dry down, this scent can be very in your face. I would say that Ambergris Showers is a very good spring fragrance, but because of its strength and because of its oomph, it could definitely be worn all year round without any issue. I think that this fragrance really works well on rainy days and overcast days. It just has a really nice and uplifting, fresh vibe to it that I think really does a good job to counteract the gloominess of a rainy or cloudy day. Uniqueness. This is where I think Ambergris Showers really, really shines. It's an extremely, it's an extremely unique fragrance. This is borderline niche or indie quality as far as what it's doing. Value. Now, the value of this fragrance is pretty good. You can purchase this fragrance for about $48, which I think is a very good buy. But again, this is a great value for people who appreciates unique, interesting, sweet smelling fragrances, and a lot of people aren't in that boat. Ambergris Showers is not a compliment getting fragrance like that. I don't think it will knock the house down as far as compliments goes, but I do notice that the fragrance does appeal to certain people. I think that because it's so different and because it's so unique and interesting, it has a way of captivating people who are not used to a smell like this. Now, the negatives of this fragrance. For a lot of guys, Ambergris Showers may not be masculine enough for them. This is a scent that women could definitely pull off. And I think that will scare a lot of guys when they smell this thing. Now, another thing is that a lot of people might find that it's not that wearable. I found this fragrance sometimes hard to wear for myself. There are times when I felt like the fragrance was just overwhelming. I feel like if you go above 2 sprays with this fragrance, you run the risk of choking yourself and others out. But whatever, it smells good. That's the main thing, right? So guys, as you know, I like to rank fragrances in what I call the page rating system. And that is P for poor, A for average, G for good, and E for exceptional. So, where do you think Ambergris Showers lands on the page? I think this fragrance warrants a G rating for sure. I do think though that this is a fragrance that even though I would have to give a G rating to, I don't think a lot of guys would like this scent. So that is gonna be my warning. Again, I want to make sure you guys understand this is not for everyone. This is not gonna be a fragrance that a lot of guys are gonna be lining up to smell like. But at the end of the day, this is a very unique smell. It's very, very interesting. It's really well blended. Even though there's synthetics in here, it smells very, very natural for what it is. The price point is really good. It leaves a good impression even though it's not a high compliment getting scent. It doesn't turn people off. That's one good thing I would say. But it is a fragrance that a lot of guys might not appreciate because it leans in a feminine direction. But it definitely is a unisex fragrance, I would say for sure. So I would consider this fragrance a G, a low G scent. I wouldn't consider this near an E rating at all, but I definitely consider this a scent everyone who appreciates the type of genre it is should try for sure. You'll find a lot of people who love it, and you're gonna find a lot of people who just don't get it. But all in all, I definitely consider it a really good scent just based on its composition alone. Just its composition and the way it works on your skin, the way it moves on your skin, and the way it evolves. I feel like that is worthy of a G rating straight off the bat. Rasasi did a really good job trying to do something that hasn't been done before and really doing a great job. I don't know if they hit a home run, but I could see them hitting a good triple. Kudos to you, Rasasi. I really appreciate you guys shaking it up a little bit and doing something different, you know, from what is constantly done. Have you owned any other like Yuqawam fragrance? They have Tobacco Blaze, like Yuqawam Pour Homme, and now Ambergris Showers. I'm really interested in smelling Jasmine Wisp, which is a Yuqawam scent made for women, but I also hear that that's a unisex scent and is probably even more masculine than this from what I've heard. So I'm curious to see what that smells like. Hopefully I get my hands on it. We'll see. So with that, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please like this video if you appreciated it. Comment down below if you guys have smelled this scent, know of this scent, have ideas or questions about this scent. I'll definitely try to answer them all. And of course, guys, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it. Anyway, so I'm E, and this is Simply Put Scents. And I'm Simply OUT.